Welcome to the deep dive. We take the sources you send us and, well, we dig in.
That's right.
Today, we're tackling a really big question, one that keeps coming up. Is the world actually genuinely entering some kind of new economic order?
hmm It's definitely a hot topic.
And your sources point squarely at BRICS. Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. They've been making some pretty major moves lately.
Incredibly significant moves, yeah.
So our mission today is basically to unpack what BRICS is up to, get into their, let's say, ambitious currency ideas, and figure out what it all means for the US dollar and, well, the whole global financial setup.
And what's really striking, looking at the material you sent, isn't just the scale of the potential change, but how coordinated it seems.
Coordinated. How so?
Well, it doesn't feel like random actions. The sources suggest it's a very deliberate geopolitical realignment, more calculated than maybe anything we've seen in quite a while.
Okay, so if the goal is understanding this big shift, let's start where your sources do. The BRICS expansion. It's not just a few new members, is it?
Not at all. 6 new countries just joined. We're talking Iran, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Ethiopia, Argentina, and the UAE.
Wow. So when you put that group together, what does that mean practically?
It means leverage. Huge leverage. You combine their resources, especially energy.
Right, the oil.
Exactly. This expanded group now controls, what, over 40% of global oil reserves? And a really significant chunk of global GDP, too.
So it's more than just a club then. The sources are framing this as a real economic challenge to the U.S.
Absolutely. A direct challenge to U.S. dominance.
Yeah.
It looks like a conscious effort to build a new economic power base, mixing energy giants with key trading nations.
Right. Beyond just getting bigger, the sources dive into something maybe even bolder. This plan for a new international currency.
Ah, yes, the gold-backed currency idea.
Right, backed by gold specifically, not by debt. How radical is that really?
Well, it's fundamental. For people deep in finance, it's a huge shift. Most big currencies now, the dollar included, are fiat currencies. Their values based on trust, essentially trust in the government.
Managing debt, yeah.
Exactly. A gold-backed currency goes back to something tangible, a commodity. Some see that as more stable, maybe. But it definitely challenges the whole system built since, Bretton Woods ended.
And their goal is ambitious, to say the least.
Oh, very. The sources state it clearly. They aim to replace the U.S. dollar for international trade. That's the end game.
Replace the dollar. Wow. And if that were to happen or even start to happen,
You could see what some are calling a de-dollarization wave. Countries, especially in Asia, Africa, Latin America, might start shifting away from the dollar.
de-dollarization, what does that actually look like? Fewer dollars being used day to day?
Essentially, yes. Less reliance on the dollar for trade deals, for central bank reserves. Countries might trade more in their own currencies, or perhaps this new BRICS currency if it launches. It means less global demand for dollars.
So what's the view from the U.S. side? Well, Washington must be watching this closely.
Oh, they are. The Federal Reserve has put out warnings, about potential economic disruptions. Sanctions are tightening on places like Russia and Iran.
Though some analysts doubt how effective those sanctions really are now, with these new alliances forming.
That's part of the debate, definitely. But the language being used is stark. Some sources call this the biggest challenge to U.S. financial supremacy since World War II.
That's quite a statement.
It is. And look, the dollar isn't vanishing overnight, but its total dominance, that's clearly eroding. The data shows it. The dollar share of global reserves. It was up at, 73% back in 2001?
And now?
Now it's under 60%. That's a real measurable decline. It shows how countries are managing their money differently.
And we're seeing practical examples too, right? It's not just theory.
Exactly. Like China and Saudi Arabia doing that oil deal using yuan, not dollars. That's a concrete example. Trades that used to be only in dollars are now happening in local currencies.
So it's happening now, in real time.
Absolutely. What we're discussing, what you're seeing, it could genuinely be the beginning of the end for total dollar dominance, maybe the start of a multi-currency world order.
And that has implications far beyond just economics, doesn't it?
It really does. It's about power shifts, economic, political, potentially even military dimensions down the line. It touches everything.
So wrapping this up, it feels like we're watching a major global narrative unfold.
We are. So maybe the final thought for you, the listener, is this. What would a world with several major competing currencies actually look like? Think about global stability, trade, even your own financial life. What changes?